until 6:30 Eastern time. Was really happy to get that in with Adam, and anybody who's a member, we have rights to has rights to do a coaching session too if they want to. Probably gonna have to spread them out a little bit because only so much time in a day, but I think we're good. And I really thought it was a good thing to do. I'll go through my plays. I'll answer some questions, and we'll be out of here probably by about 6:30 Eastern tonight. So let's get into it. All right. First off, I am playing mostly Buehler, Morton, and Manaea on DraftKings. I need to see a couple lineups coming out before I make my full commitment on my stacks, and I have my current ownerships pretty much are up on the site. They're pretty much accurate. A couple things I've changed a little bit. I actually have Buehler like 80% on FanDuel. The rest is Manaea. And then on DraftKings, I have no problem if you want to take the Heaney shot. I'm using a little bit more Heaney on DraftKings, and I'm using Morton about 45%, Manaea 40%, Buehler 35% on DK. That's where I'm at right now. I also do have a little bit of Chris Flexen love, which is weird, and a little bit of Tanner Houck, however you pronounce it, for the Red Sox, just because of this Yankees lineup being pretty inept for the most part lately. So that's sort of what I'm doing for pitching. My main guys, I think you want to try and get Manaea, Buehler, and Morton in. Those are the guys you should be focused on, in my opinion. Say what's up when you get into the chat room. Always love to hear from you guys. Always love to get our little True DFS fam together. And, I'll get into some stacks and some favorite one-offs, things like that. So I personally think San Diego, I hope this is being overlooked by a lot of people because their run totals is way too low. If you want to make a good over-under bet, that would probably be the game I would look at. I, by the way, am using a tiny bit of Blake Snell, but less than I thought I was going to at the beginning of the day. There's enough upside where it makes so much sense, but we've seen this so many times. So I'm just sort of torn on that, and I'd rather go with the guys who I feel better about getting me the innings, getting me the actual upside that they bring with them instead of just having the idea of upside. And I know Snell is an awesome pitcher. I just don't know what's going on with him. It obviously couldn't have a much better matchup. I actually like some Miami bats. If you're not playing them, I like Alfaro, I like Marte, I like Duvall, but Alfaro and Marte are my two favorites. But stacks-wise, I'm all over San Diego. I hope they get as overlooked as current projections have them because I think that they're being way overlooked here. I'm also heavy on the Dodgers, more in 2- and 3-man stacks, or even a 4-man full stack on FanDuel I like a lot. So I have San Diego, the Dodgers. I'm less high on Minnesota today, but I do have pieces of them. I'm not fully stacking the chalky stack or chalky-ish stack. So I'm sort of off of them. I like some Boston pieces, but again, not fully stacking them. I like some Yankee pieces, but not fully stacking them. I like Tampa Bay as a full stack. I don't love the idea of playing too many low Meadows combinations with nothing else or something because you're going to be too chalky, unless maybe you get a little bit different and play one of these less chalky stacks. So I'm still San Diego, Tampa Bay, Dodgers, Atlanta, but I'm not fully stacking Atlanta as much either right now. Thanks a lot, man. It's a little hard to get all this stuff organized at once and get it set out. We probably need to plan that in advance next time, but I'd be happy to do it with you. I can send you the invite and we could jump on in, but I want to get out of here if possible, because I still have all my lineups to go through by about 6:30 Eastern. But we'll do it. I'll send it over to you right now, actually. Let me just invite. And it's really hard to do all these things at once. I know that Sheets sometimes likes to he'll have the dead time on air. I've done too much stuff in my life, too much radio and everything. I just can't stand dead air, so I like to keep things moving. And it's really hard to do with your lineups being built at the same time. So here we go. Why is your email not coming up? There it is. And link. So I just sent you the link, Rody, and I sent you the link, and jump on in if you're able to, and we can welcome you in. All right. What's up, Jamie? How you guys doing? What's up, Mac? Everybody, good to see you. So I think it's a pretty straightforward slate. I do like some different 1- and 2-man combination. I love JD Martinez. I love Kike Hernandez. I love some of these Cubs one-offs. Wisdom, Baez, Rizzo, even the lefty. and Chris Bryant. Those are my Cubs exposures. But I'm still waiting on the San Diego lineup to really make my final decision. I also love Matt Olson. I know people are talking about the Oakland stack. I'm not going to get heavy into that myself, and we're bringing in Rody right now. What's up, man? Rody, you there? Jake? Can't hear him, but he's there. So hopefully we'll see him. We'll get him in a minute. But yeah, I think Arozarena. I mean, I think that you're going to see more ownership on FanDuel for the Tampa Bay guys than you will on DraftKings. So I'm playing them more on DraftKings than I am FanDuel. Matt Olson went off. I'm way high on that. I love the idea of paying for him. Ohtani, he'll have some ownership, but I love the Olson pivot off of him. I also have some Chris Flexen interest. You do have a low strikeout righty against a guy like Olson, which is great. But everybody wants to fully stack Oakland. I'm not exactly sure whether or not they've just looked at what Chris Flexen's doing. I'm not saying it won't get there. Everything can happen. It's baseball. It's one day. But I don't personally see that as like a strong route to go to fully stack up a team against a pitcher who really has been hit hard like once in his last 20 starts. Like I'm just not there. I actually have 20% Flexen on DraftKings. So that's just where I'm at. Still trying to wait on. Oh, it looks like we got Rody's face, but do we have his audio?
Yeah. You should hear me.
Yeah, we're in business. All right, man. Well, I was just talking through who I like. So why don't we do this together? Why don't you tell us a little bit about what you're doing?
Oh, I like your Rays call. I definitely got Rays. The Padres popped up a little bit. They're a little bit pricier, but I know you talked about them on the show. They look good for I think I got the DK. Yeah, DK, they're coming in number 2 for me now on the stacks, above the Braves a little bit. So you guys could go there. I don't know the ownership on them. I gotta pull it up quick.
Padres ownership is projections are way off, I think, because I think people were accounting for they weren't accounting for the different pitching change.
Yeah, they're showing way low owned.
Yeah.
Tatis and Grisham are high owned. Grisham because he's very cheap, 3.7 can DK.
Yeah. So. Yeah, Grisham and I mean that's my most popular stack on DraftKings. On FanDuel, I'll go back. Like the Dodgers are gonna have nights where they have terrible nights, and this Galfani, I've always been a fan of. I've always thought he's better than people think he is. I still believe overall in this lineup, and I'm gonna wait to see what comes out with. If we get Beatty again at minimum, I'm gonna play that batting third. You know what I mean? I'm just gonna do it. But I'm more on the Dodgers on FanDuel. Where do you stand with the Twins and the Heaney situation?
Twins, I'm not on the Twins. I don't know why their total's up there a little bit, but I'm not liking the Twins today as much. What was the other team you said?
No, I was talking about the Dodgers before that.
Oh, yeah, Dodgers. Dodgers I like. I do like Oakland a little bit. I know you're on the Flexen call. I did like them on FanDuel a little bit more. Like I said, they got some big bats. You guys talked about them on the show today.
Yeah.
You did like the bats, but you do like Flexen a little bit too. So there's that.
It's just Flexen is a pivot off of Snell, and no ownership. And if you just game log watch, it actually makes a lot of sense. And it's not like Oakland isn't a high strikeout team like this. So I just think that he's, guys will get totally overlooked. I'm looking at this as a pretty small slate. So I'm trying to get really different, but my team that I like the 5-mans of the most is really San Diego. Like I just think that if there's a team that I would want to go off, San Diego, Tampa Bay would be my favorite 5-men with Atlanta. Those would be the way I would go. How about you? Are you getting to Boston and the Yankees at all?
No Yankees, but I did build that nice Boston Dodgers stack that I talked about in our Discord.
Oh yeah,
your Discord, True DFS Discord. If you guys are in there, you guys got to hear my plays on that with a little bit of Moore and Snell at pitcher. So Moore is a guy I like. I know a lot of people like Atlanta tonight, but if you want to get a little different, he's not bad for price.
Yep. Yeah. How about pitching wise? What are you doing?
I like Sean Manaea, so I think I'm going to go there. I know you were on Bueller a little bit more, but I think Sean Manaea is one of my top pitchers.
Yeah.
So I definitely pair him with either probably Snell, but I'm probably going to have a lot of Manaea on FanDuel more. So
yeah, I think people are going to do that on FanDuel. I'm trying to go a little bit like I do this all the time. If I see somebody's going to be owned on one side, like I think Tampa Bay will be much more owned on FanDuel than DraftKings, so I'll play them on DraftKings instead of FanDuel and force it in. And I feel like Manaea is going to have ownership both places, but I think Buehler is a better FanDuel play. Obviously there's a $1,400 price difference, but if you look at the sheer number of just six quality starts, it's so far in Buehler's favor. And I know Manaea's got the matchup and all that stuff, but I just have a hard time. Like Buehler doesn't ever get hit around. Like he has given up. What has he given up? What's the last time he gave up 4 runs? Once in 20 starts? It just feels so safe, and I think he's going to have lower ownership, and also it forces me to like get off of the. I love Manaea too tonight. Don't get me wrong, but I just wanted to get off of a little bit of the chalk. I think that Buehler will be lower owned, so I'm going that route personally. And again, I feel like he's much, much more secure. Manaea, we've seen him get pitch counts worked up. Now he does. I love that Seattle matchup in general. I always try and target against it. But if you're not playing Manaea, by the way, playing some of the like Ty France or even spending up for a Haniger is an interesting one-off thing I did in a couple tournament lineups. In general, it's not what I'm focused on, but I do sort of like getting that, leverage. You get the guys who no one's playing at 1%. I don't know. I think it makes a lot of sense. I didn't get to the full Cubs stack, but I was mentioning that I like a lot of their one-offs. I like a lot of, or little even 2-man things. I love Baez, paying way too much for him on DraftKings. I love as a pivot off of Tatis, and I love Wisdom, Bryant, and I'm good with Rizzo and the lefty as well. But I just didn't want to make the full stack against Kim. I do think that he doesn't have this great. This is a team that strikes out. That's their biggest weakness. You've got a guy like Wisdom who's got a 42% strikeout rate. And then you get a lefty who can't strike anybody out or struggles striking people out. All of a sudden, I have a lot more interest in Wisdom. You know what I mean? So, and Bryant and I think there's those power bats that are basically nullified for. Well, they're not. They can still strike out, but it's just a lower chance than usual. So I'm just high on those guys right now as one-offs. Who else have you got? Like. I'm thinking about I'm looking at my stacks right now. So I've got Tampa Bay, San Diego, mostly on DraftKings. I have the Dodgers, and I do have some Twins, like 2- and 3-man stacks on FanDuel, doing some 4-2-2s. I think this is a good night. Sure, one team could go out and score a bunch of runs, but we've had the last 20 games have been played yesterday and today, and I don't think or 16 games. I don't think anybody's scored more than 7 runs. And when that happens, which is the way baseball more often is, you don't necessarily need those 5-man stacks because those teams putting up 25 runs is just such extreme outliers, especially in modern day baseball where there's so many strikeouts, that I'm much more into the 4-man stacks today than I usually am. I even think 3-3 is fine on FanDuel, but at the same time, I think if there are 2 teams that are going to go off, San Diego and Tampa Bay stand out to me. So I do have those 5-man stacks. I'm guessing you're going to do the same 5. Is it 5 and 3 no matter what, or is it going to be a 5-2-1?
I do 5-1-1s sometimes, 5-2-1s. I do like your 4-2 idea, 4-2-2. I'll probably get to that a little bit today. I do have a nice 4-4 build on FanDuel that I like right now that I just put together.
Nice.
But I do like the 4-3-1s on FanDuel a little bit more.
Yeah. I like it.
Yeah, but definitely on an 8-game slate, guys, don't always do the 5-3. Get different like that. That's definitely what's been winning a lot lately. If you guys want to do those type of builds, those are really, really good builds lately.
Yeah, for sure. When you get all the runs, it does help. So I'm gonna have to make some edits a bunch of edits to my lineups because San Diego's lineup just came out. Yeah, and as I expect on Thursdays, you're going to get different types of lineups. Okay, we know this. Wednesdays and Thursdays, that's the day you're going to get the weird lineup sometimes. So I'm still. Oh, we actually do have a Dodger line. Beatty's batting 5th. So at the minimum cost, I love Beatty on DraftKings. I like him on FanDuel as well. And you've got Billy McKinney down at the bottom of the order. That's interesting. See Billy McKinney's first game in the Dodger. Taylor, Muncy, Turner. So Bellinger they put down to 6 because he's struggling. Yeah, I think you're going to get – there's no ownership there. I think maybe you don't need to fully stack the Dodgers, but I do think taking some pieces for the power upside, especially Muncy, that's not – look, I do believe BVP matters, but I don't think that we usually get enough of a sample between guys. But, he's got 3 home runs and 19 at-bats, profiles really well against DeScalfani, as do all these Dodgers as a team. They've hit .404 against him. And I think 6 or 7 starts. So it has my interest a little bit for that reason as well. I just think that pitch profile, I did a little bit of research today, and it does seem to favor a lot of these guys. I like Will Smith on FanDuel, using him at 3,200. I just think nobody's going to play them, and I really like getting exposure to it. Like this could be another one of those slates where we don't get anything like last night, and you could get the Dodgers are a team that can go out there and hit 4 or 5 home runs every night. So I'm talking myself into it even more.
Yeah, you'll be mad. I've been playing the Dodgers and have 2 bad nights with the Dodgers lately. So if I get off them too much tonight and they go off for 12 runs or 15 runs, and that's the top team on the slate, I'm going to be over here so mad. So
I'm sorry. Well, I hoped. Sadly, I don't want to in general make you mad, but I hope tonight you're mad a little bit, because I could use a nice win with my Dodgers coming through for me. Oswaldo asked a question that you sort of touched on before, so I want you to talk a little bit about the A's stack, because he asked if you think it's viable, it's sneaky. I think people are they're onto it by talking about it. I don't think they're playing it a ton, to be honest. Sort of like that other pitcher for Tampa Bay, or was it Tampa Bay? Patino today. Yeah. Everybody's talking about Patino, and I'm like, I still don't believe these guys are actually going to pull that trigger. This is just them talking, in my opinion. Maybe some guys will. I think it's less than 10%.
I don't like it.
What A's are like? That's the thing I look at with the A's lineup. Like, they're expensive on DraftKings. On FanDuel, they make a lot more sense. But
they do make a lot more sense. On FanDuel, I got like Olsen, Jed Lowry coming at third base, Canna coming in outfield, and Laureano. So those are the top 4. They come in a little lower ownership. I mean, you're talking 3%, 2% on a couple of those guys.
Yeah.
4% on Olsen. So even if you pair those up with the Rays, I play a little bit higher dollars, so smaller contests. I can pair those 4 up with the Rays and put in like Lau, Franco, Meadows, Rosarina, and Sean Mena. I can still afford him. So I mean, that's a dynamite nine players right there.
Yeah.
If you want a 4-4 build. I mean, if you want to change up, drop one of the guys, drop Jed Lowry at third base, pay down to somebody else, and pay up to Buehler, you get way different there too. And just run 3 Rays a little chalkier, and then you can pay for a guy that's a little cheaper even.
Yeah, I like that. I actually think on FanDuel, looking at the prices, it does make a decent amount of sense. I'm not playing a ton of lineups over there, so I'm sort of targeted in a little bit, but I do like that. Excuse me.
Yeah, you could pivot off of what did I say, Lowry there. Go with like a Ty France, like you just talked about, and then pay up to Buehler instead of having Sean Manaea. So you do like a little 4-1 stack on that game, and hope for Ty gets a couple big ones.
Yep, I agree with what you're doing is though that's how I would stack them. I would always try to include Laureano in my stacks, power speed combination upside. I like that a lot. And I do think I just want to say about the Minnesota stacks, if you're going to make Minnesota stacks, just as I mentioned on the show earlier, include the lefties, play Larnach or something, you know what I mean? Try to get a little bit different. Don't try to just play Sano, Donaldson, even though Sano is actually not going to be as high owned. Polanco, Cruz. Don't just play the obvious ones. Throw in a Larnach or stack them with another team that is going to be low on, like the Dodgers. That would be what I'd recommend. And then, just in terms of like talking about I like Muncy, Taylor, Will Smith, and Bellinger the best, with Beatty just behind.
Is Taylor in? Did Taylor get announced in? Or
and Taylor's not. Yeah, he's not going anywhere. He's an all-star this year, so he's he's living life, and he's changed his swing. This Dodger team, man, I'm telling you. You look at these guys minor. Look what happened. Look at Justin Turner, Max Muncy, Chris Taylor before they played for the Dodgers, and it was a totally different ballgame. Like, it is crazy how much different they are now. They had no power, all these guys, but they've coached them up right, and that's why these guys, really are much better hitters than everybody probably realizes. Some minimum cost guys or cheap guys that I have got some exposure to: Rob Brantley, because he's batting 6th and he's 2K at catcher because we no longer have Caratini, so I'm gonna have to work that around my stacks. Nola's 2,800, so that's going to sort of make me do some different things that I'm not sure I want to do yet. So I ended up with a little bit of I'm getting to Brantley a little bit as a cheapo. I think Heredia in the Brave stack is not a must, but he's a great play at batting 6th at 2,700. Alfaro I like against Snell. at 2,500. We don't have Zimmer anymore. Carlson at 3,100, and then Beatty. I'm going to keep taking shots with Beatty. He's got power and batting fifth and probably low owned at minimum cost or near it. I'm into that. So that's a little bit more about what I'm doing. Guys, I've dropped in some questions and we'll get to those. In the meantime, Rody, talk about some of the other, like, is there anybody else who I'm missing that we haven't really touched on?
Let me pull up the sheet here. Not really. I know like Sheets was on the Angels a little bit. I'm kind of off them. I'm not really on them. If Buehler comes in a little bit lower ownership, I know a lot of people like the Giants, but people also like the bet for the under is pretty popular today in that game. I know we're talking a lot about the Dodgers, so I'd be careful with that.
Yeah.
But if Snell comes in really popular, like you said, Alfaro, a couple Marlins, maybe even do a 3-man stack of that to get different in large field.
Mm-hmm.
So Duvall, Marte, and Alfaro in a stack against Snell. So that's an option for large field. So just to get different guys on those stacks kind of helps you guys get ahead of the field in those bigger tournaments.
I like it. I'm really curious to see where the San Diego ownership is going to end up, because I just can't buy that they're not going to be owned at all facing a bullpen game from a team you'd want to face a bullpen game with. And Nola's probably a little better hitter than Caratini, so their lineup may be arguably a little bit better. All right, so I mentioned JD as a favorite. Like, I like a 2-man like JD and Kike kind of combination. Both really good against lefties. I don't, in general, go out of my way to pick on Montgomery. That's the only thing. And Boston has the high total. Same thing. Like, Heaney can be combustible. He can also shut down an offense for 6 innings. So that's why I'm a little bit not quite as high on those situations. I think maybe I need a little more Tampa exposure is sort of what I'm thinking overall. I could see that being a really good one. I love Wander Franco being so expensive on DraftKings. You can play Taylor Walls if you're doing a 5-man stack at batting 9th at 2,300 at shortstop, kind of like that. I think there's a lot of ways you can go with that, but that's what I'm doing. Let's see, we got Grisham everywhere, basically, right? It seems like I've got Grisham in almost all my lineups, which is
I just took him out.
Probably one or two too many.
Might end up with a 4-man stack there.
Which one?
4-man stack there on with Padres. Do like a 4-2-2. I don't know.
I like it. Hunter Renfroe also another value play, by the way, that I forgot to mention at 3K.
Yeah, you did say Boston. I do like. Yeah, that's 3K. I'm gonna probably get him in a lineup for sure. Renfroe's too cheap. You like JD today? Those guys are pretty cheap. He went down in price, right? 4.4 now.
It says
JD's pretty. Yeah, JD is cheap.
Sadly, people will play him because the price differential on FanDuel. But I don't know. I mean, I'm looking at it right now. Let's see. What do we have him at owned? I've got him at. Yeah, I got it now. Yeah, they're going to get on him for sure. They have to. And I want to see some updates on these San Diego ownerships. I need to get a little bit refreshed because it does feel a little bit fishy. No one is going to play anyone except for Tatis and Grisham. I just personally, I understand it's a stadium downgrade. It's not that big of a stadium downgrade for them. Talking myself into the San Diego even more here. But oddly enough, I don't like them as much as like one or two. I like them for a full stack. Like I want to go all the way with them. I think that's how you try to do it.
So you like a 5-man on DK then?
Yep. I will have some 5-man here. It just makes. I just think this is they're an explosive offense. This is a bullpen that we've seen get lit up especially when they go to this situation. And I just feel like, I don't know, I really think that if they are in fact getting overlooked, which everything I'm looking at numbers wise says they are, I think that they're a much, much better team. I actually like the over in that game in general, by the way. It's a separate bet that I like. And we have, I understand the people being off the Dodger thing and they're struggling and this is not the same lineup and all that stuff. I still feel like I'm not gonna avoid it at zero ownership again. I was so excited last night though when I saw the ownerships of all my Dodgers, and I was like, and I had them comboed with Boston. So I mean, I literally get anything. I get a home run from one of my other guys, and I end up winning the 250 for 20K or whatever. So that would have been nice.
Wait. Pause for a second. Who's out in the? Why do you keep saying Grisham's out? Grisham's still in. What am I? Who's out in the Padres lineup? Nola's in for Cartini, right?
Yeah, it's Nolan. So it's the lineup is. Let me just grab it real quick.
Grisham, Tatis, Cronsworth, Machado, Pham, Hosmer, Nola, Profar, and Snell. Okay, so I said that wrong because I was like Grisham's out, but he is not out. He is like.
Yeah. No, he's in.
Yeah, that's a good play right there.
Yeah, and it's interesting. I do think more people are going to go to. I sort of like the idea of playing. Well, I mean, again, I'm sort of expecting their ownership to be higher than is projected, but if it's not, I do sort of like the idea. I'm trying to debate this here because Cronenworth versus Cronenworth is the better play. If I don't need to get the ownership discount. But I don't mind. I kind of like playing Hosmer, who should be much lower owned. But again, I don't know that either of them are going to get ownership. Based on the current projections, they won't be. I just am having a hard time entirely buying these current projections, I guess.
For sure. Man, you really like this Tanner guy, right? Boston pitcher?
I have him a little bit. I didn't end up with as much of him as I thought. There's enough value. I feel like I didn't need to. Even if they're value that I don't like absolutely love, it's like we said, the 3K guys, especially, the 3K-ish guys, and then you've got BD. I've got my value guys. I mentioned BD, Heredia, Alfaro, Brantley. I feel like there's enough other things. Even you could even throw what's his name in the mix here, Profar, batting at the bottom of the order.
Let me get him in there instead of probably Pham, because I had a nice 5 Padres, 3 Rays with that Tanner guy and Snell at pitcher, but I don't know if that's good enough for the 888. But I'm getting dicey lately.
Hey, we all, that's what happens throughout the year.
That's too much, maybe. But man, yeah, Profar is only 2K. That's a decent price. I like that.
Yeah,
I can probably upgrade my pitching a little bit. That's probably a better option.
Yeah, it's what about the San Diego? I always talk about stacking in the infield because the outfield's always so loaded. San Diego now became easier to stack on the infield to me, with Nola batting 7th, and who I believe is a better hitter than Caratini is, even though he hasn't really done much in a while, but he's been hurt. So I don't know. I'm starting to get more and more into this idea of maybe stacking the infield for them and then ignoring the outfield actually, and then playing my 3 favorite outfield plays along with them. That's not a bad idea, actually. I might end up doing that.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah. All right. What else do we have here? Any pop-in question? Wow, Jankowski, they've moved up to 2nd today. Really like Morton. Looks like there's no more questions or anything, so I'm probably going to jump. That sounds good to you, man, because I still have to edit my lineups, and I have Caratini.
Yeah, you got a lot of lineups out there. I got 5, so I'm working on this 5 big ones.
I have a ton. I didn't play like a crazy amount. I just feel like weird. I don't know, like seeing Caratini in all my lineups right now. I'm like, I feel a little scatterbrained. But yeah, guys, it seems like people really liked the coaching video we did, and I'm going to keep doing that. I'll do another one tomorrow with one of our members, and just DM me if you're interested, and we'll set up a time to do it. Anybody who's a member of the site, we're doing that for. So it's I think a pretty cool thing that I don't think anybody else out there is really offering. All right, guys. Rody, you good?
Yeah, man, I'm good.
All right.
Thanks for having me.
Always
filling in for Sheets.
Always, man. You're awesome. Anytime you can, I'm always happy for you to come on. So, all right, guys. For Rody, for Sheets, for our True DFS team over here, we'll say good luck tonight, and hopefully somebody takes something down. Good luck, all.
Let's get it.
All right, man. Take it easy.